So today's video is a showstopper because we have discovered there's a problem with Portugal Golden Visa applications, and it has stopped our visa application being submitted and processed. So we were hoping to be here today to say that our Golden Visa had been submitted and been approved, and we were just waiting for our biometrics appointment, but no, it's a totally different story. So that's what today's video is about, so please stay with us and learn more. However, we're going to start the video by talking about where we are. Where are we, Andrew?
We are not in Madeira. We are in Cyprus.
Okay, did you say we're in Cyprus? So we should talk about why we are in Cyprus so our viewers don't just think they're watching the wrong video and leave.
So we are in Cyprus because we entered Madeira on a tourist visa, which is only 90 days and only 180 until we have our visa. We do not have our visa. So we had to leave and go to a non-Schengen country. We came to Cyprus. They're in Europe, but they're not in Schengen. So here we are.
Brexit put a lot of barriers in our way to make this an easy process. And because the UK is no longer in the EU, we don't get the freedom to travel as we used to before Brexit.
Before Brexit, we could have gone to Madeira and stayed there.
Yeah, so we wouldn't even be having to apply for a visa.
No.
But now we have to leave. So the secret is to understand what the difference is between Europe and Schengen. Because not all the countries that are in Europe are in the Schengen area. And it's the Schengen area that we have to leave. So that's why we've come to Cyprus. It's in Europe, but it's not yet
right,
in
it's all
Schengen.
about borders and freedom of entry and exit and so forth.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yes. And it's quite tricky to understand, isn't it? So it is something that takes a bit of research, and you have to make sure you get your days right, because the 90 days entry is a cumulative over a 180-day period. So you could come to Madeira for 3 weeks, then leave for a month, and then come back again. But each time you visit, it counts towards
it's 90 days in any 180-day
days.
period. Yeah.
We actually have a Schengen calculator that we use, don't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's not been easy. So that's why we're in Cyprus. So let's get back to the main focus of the video, the problems we're facing with our Golden Visa. And really, to apply for a Portugal Golden Visa, there is 6 main steps. Each step has a lot of steps within that process. So the steps, if you're applying for an investment Golden Visa, investing in property, to come to Portugal, in our case Madeira, and choose your property that you want to buy.
So whether it's rehabilitation, which is over 350, or whether it's a total outright purchase, which is over 500,000 euros. But either way, before you can buy anything, you need a Portuguese tax number or a NIF number. Luckily, we were able to get our lawyers to help us with that.
Yes, because we needed that to actually put our offer in on our house. And if you've seen our last video, we talk a little bit about that, and it was all a big rush for us because we wanted to put an offer in really quickly, and we didn't have a NIF number. And there is ways of doing it without a lawyer. There's a website you can use, but we actually had to pay our lawyer to do it, didn't we? And it was done within a day, I think. Yeah,
it's all of these things are possible to do on your own, but you know what? There's so many trapdoors if you don't know what you're doing. We could have just fell foul, but yes. So we got our lawyer do it. Obviously, that cost us a few pounds to get that done, but it was done in a timely fashion, enabled us to put our offer in.
Yeah. And then we had to open a bank account. Well, Andrew had to open a Portuguese bank account, because another key thing to know about the Portugal Golden Visa is, if you're a couple like us, only one of you must apply for it. One of your names should be on the house deeds, on the bank account, because I can then join Andrew on a reunification. But if we'd done it in joint names, we would have to invest double the amount.
Yes. It would have been expensive.
So that would have been expensive. So that's really key. You must make sure, if you're doing it like we are, that you only have one of your names on the house documents. So after the bank account and the NIF number, the next step is to complete your house purchase. And that in itself, we should do another video about how to buy the house, the process, because there's quite a few steps involved that we weren't expecting. So we'll go into that. And then the next step is to actually apply for the Golden Visa.
Yeah.
And that's where we thought we were.
We had all our documents together, we had all our police checks, we had all our apostle documents, and we can go through it all. But yeah, so we had everything in line. We gave everything to our lawyers to upload onto the SEF website.
Yeah, so I think the first problem was that we got all our documents apostilled in the UK. I didn't even know what an apostle document was when we were told we needed to get them. You did, didn't you?
Yeah, so basically apostling is that it's somebody of authority who has insurances to cover his decision, or his or her decision, that these documents are original, they are accurate, they are true, and they put their name to it. So basically they're bona fide documents, and we give those apostle documents to our lawyers, who then in turn upload them. But by the way, these apostle documents have to be translated into Portuguese.
Oh yes, that's
before
true.
They get uploaded. So that's even more money. Once you've had them apostilled, then you have to pay again to get them translated into Portuguese to get them uploaded.
Yes, and I think the other important thing to know is that these documents have a validity lifespan of 90 days. So we had our apostle documents done when we were staying in London before we came to Madeira in March, and they are only valid for...
The ones done in Madeira are valid for 45 days. The ones we had done are valid for 90 days. But it's once it's 90 days or 45 days until they've been uploaded, then that's fixed, that's done.
Some of the documents our lawyers got for us, because they were Portuguese documents, like proving you didn't have a criminal record in Portugal. They had our documents translated into Portuguese for us at a cost.
They were supposed to do our bank declaration.
Yes, they were. We arrived in Madeira on the 21st of March with our apostle documents. We went to our lawyers, handed them over, and they said, right, we've got everything, we can now upload it. But then they discovered that there were 3 documents missing, and they were the ARU, the bank declaration, and our builder's contract.
A signed builder's contract, yeah.
Because we were buying a property that was being rehabilitated, our process is much more complicated than if we'd just bought a house outright for 500,000 euros. So it was a lot more complicated process. So again, if you're doing something like that, you need to be prepared.
I mean, essentially, the bank declaration says that 1, we've got the money in the account to pay for the building works. 2, it says that we have paid a deposit to the builder to start works, and then, and only then, will they issue a declaration.
Yes. It took us a good couple of weeks to get those documents because, like you were saying, our lawyers originally said they would get the bank declaration, and then it was handed over to us, wasn't it?
Well, what they didn't realise, I think, is that, let me back up, most golden visas are done by outright purchases of over 500,000 euros. We were a little bit of an anomaly in so much that we were doing a rehabilitation project, and apparently that doesn't happen that often, probably because some of the intricacies that we're finding out is really quite onerous with the documentation. So I think no fault of theirs, but they were feeling their way with us a little bit, and the declaration which they perceived was fairly simple. Actually, it wasn't difficult, but there's a few hoops we had to jump through to get it.
Yeah, that's right. And Andrew has a great bank manager, and she's always very helpful and available to see us. But the process always takes a long time, doesn't it? But she's great. We're very lucky again in having such a helpful bank manager who speaks really good English. So we got all our documents. We got our ARU document, we got our builder's contract and paid him a deposit, and we got our bank declaration, and we took that to Nuco on the 22nd of April. So a month ago today.
Yeah.
And when we went to see him, he said that the Golden Visa applications were taking a long time. And there was a few reasons for this. So one is that SEF, who deal with the Golden Visas, that department was being made extinct and it was being reformed because we were told this was due to corruption and also violence. However, this was due to happen in May and apparently it's been put on hold. So that's one reason. Another reason is because of COVID and also the Ukraine war. There's a big backlog that SEF are having to deal with. And the third and final reason, which is I think our biggest problem, is that when the Golden Visa had changes made to it in January of this year, they didn't update the website to reflect this. And when you upload your documents, you get an error message saying that these documents can't be uploaded due to some regulation issues. So that is our main problem, and we've now discovered that nobody has been able to upload any visa applications since January because of this. And our lawyer has said to us that he can't give us a date when this is going to be resolved. And in one email we had from him, he states, and I'm just going to read this: the regional government of Madeira is aware of this problem and has been pressing the national authorities for an urgent solution. Even last week, one of our regional deputies at the Portuguese Legislative Assembly questioned the Minister of Internal Affairs in that regard. So, at the moment, we have no date when our visa can be submitted. I think we understand that he has tried to upload the documents and they've got so far.
Well, they've all been uploaded. They're on the system. And they have a processing number associated with that. So in theory, the 45 and 90-day periods have been locked. However, they're uploaded, but they're not being processed. They have a processing number, but they're not moving forward because of these legislative changes that haven't happened on the website. We're just waiting for, essentially, the website to be updated.
We have been told that there's no guarantee that our documents won't have to be revalidated because the system, although they've been uploaded and in theory they should be now fixed, apparently because the system has this legislative issue, we have been told there's no guarantees. So it may be when they do finally get around to sorting the website issue out, we will have to get all our documents done again.
Yep, but we definitely will have to get the documents done again for the biometrics.
Yeah. So what happens is, apparently, this is what we've been told, had the process gone smoothly, or our lawyer had been able to upload the documents, SEF have 30 to 45 days to check the documents and come back and say whether or not they've been approved for a Golden Visa application. So that is what should happen. The next stage after that is your biometrics testing. And normally that appointment would come around in 3 to 6 months. But our lawyer tells us at the moment there's about an 18-month waiting list. So even once we have got our documents submitted and we're told they've been approved, we then have to wait another 18 months for our biometrics,
which is kind of crazy because they tell us one breath that our documents are fine and they're approved and they will be okay. We wait a year to 18 months for a biometric test, which takes about 20 minutes, and they take our picture and our fingerprints. And then about 30 to 60 days after that, you get your visa.
And our story is that we sold everything in the UK. Everything. To make our investment in Madeira. We didn't understand at the start of this process that the Portugal Golden Visa could take this long.
Well, when we started the process, it didn't take that long.
That's
it all
true.
Changed in January.
Yes, that's true. So we weren't aware of that. Leaving every 3 months is a great adventure and we love the travelling, but it's also a big expense, and we're missing our house being refurbished, and we really miss being in Madeira. It really feels like home to us. In fact, when we first got to Cyprus, I felt quite homesick for Madeira. And it did take us a while to adjust to being here. So,
well, I mean, there's a couple of other things. I mean, as part of the Golden Visa process, you have to have private health insurance. That's one of the documents you have to do. So we now have a 12-month private health insurance policy for Portugal when we're only in the country for 6 months.
yeah.
We invested and bought a car, insured it for 12 months. It's only being driven 6 months of the year. The rest of the time it's in a garage.
We had to find somewhere to store it,
which
didn't
costs
we?
us money. For anyone thinking of doing it, at the moment is not the time.
Yeah,
when
so
SEF sort themselves out, yep, go for it. But at the moment, you're not going to get the Golden Visa or even begin to get processed.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think we really wanted to do this video to say now is not the right time.
Yeah.
And do speak to a lawyer first before you start the process.
However, our ball is rolling. We cannot turn back.
Yeah,
We've sold
cannot turn
everything. So we have some people renovating a building for us right now to live in. But we are Phileas Fogg for the next, I don't know how long.
Yeah, we just don't know. So we go back to Madeira on the 3rd of August. And until then, we're going to spend our time trying to relax and enjoy our time out of Madeira. And we're in Cyprus for 6 weeks. And then we go to the UK for 3 weeks, and then we go to Canada for 3 weeks.
And then we go to Madeira.
And then we go home.
3 months.
Then we go home. So, but we've got some nice visits. We're seeing family when we're in the UK, and my sister lives in Canada, so that will be lovely to go and stay with her. And then we can go home. Okay.
Fingers crossed, Seth.
Yes.
Watching you.
Yeah. All right. So I hope that's been helpful, and we will be back next time talking more about the process. And I think the next video we are going to do, which we said we'd do, is about how we sold our house and sold all our possessions to prepare for our move.